Committee. And before we call the roll, may I note for the record, I was watching television last night and heard that a legislator was very much involved in protecting motorists or moving trees or something like that on J Street. Andy Vidak, do you have a brief story to tell? Anything for the camera.
Oh my God.
Did he save somebody?
Was that
No, did you rescue a motorist? There were some trapped in cars. Give us the hot details here.
You heard it first.
I left the Capitol and I was going for a little exercise because we all need it. So I was walking down the sidewalk and I went underneath down J Street and walked under a big sycamore tree and I heard it crack. And I thought, I've been around a lot of oak trees and sycamores and it didn't sound too healthy. And so I looked up and there was a 5-foot crack in the sycamore tree and the limb was going over J Street. There was a car parked underneath that limb and a lady talking on the phone. And so I got her out of the way because it was going to fall directly on her. Then I called 911 and got to CHP, who put me to the Sacramento police, who said they were going to send Parks and Maintenance or somebody out there. And I was like, okay, well, this tree's going to come down. And so another car tried to park there. I pushed, got them out. And then it started to crack a little bit more and it was on its way down. And so I ran out in the street and stopped the lady and it landed on her hood right in front of her windshield. So, and then one of the persons came back across the street and said, thank you for moving me. That would have been my car or me. So that's what happened.
Well, thank you. Perfect timing. All that work with your orchards, you feel very comfortable around trees, but I have to tell you, I chair the Natural Resources Committee, and there's some mitigation responsibilities you have if you were involved in any way in leveling that tree. There's carbon sequestration issues, right?
Yes.
No, thank you very much, and I wanted to share that with members and thought it was a good way to start the hearing. All right, so again, we'll go ahead and begin the hearing. Let's call the roll for the purpose of establishing a quorum.
Senators Pavley,
Here.
Stone, Allen, Hertzberg, Hueso, Jackson, Monning, Vidak, Wolk.
We do have a quorum. Committee members will be hearing their bills last, so those of you who are here for that, we generally go in file order, but because of our tradition of committee members like being hosts of an event, we will go last and welcome our guests first. So who would be the first one up? Senator Morrell, you are up first because Senator Lara is busy giving a speech. And this would be file item 6, Senate Bill 1081. And before you start, Senator Morrell, let me note for the record, we have 2 items on consent today. That's file item 10, SB 1133, and file item 12, SB 1172. Go ahead and move those. Thank you. Those 2. Senator Wolk moved those 2 items, 10 and 12.
You really
Call the roll.
Senators Pavley,
Aye.
Pavley, aye. Stone, Stone, aye. Allen, Allen, aye. Hertzberg, Hueso, Hueso, aye. Jackson, Monning, Monning, aye. Vidak, Vidak, aye. Wolk, Wolk, aye. We'll leave it open for members.
We'll be leaving it open. We'll leave all items open for members that are not hearing. And members will be coming and going because of other committees meeting at the exact same time. So Senator Morrell, go ahead and begin on file item 6, SB 1001, relating to hunting and sporting fees.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate that. SB 1081 reduces sports, fishing, and hunting license fees for all honorably discharged veterans. California has the largest veteran population in our nation. And we know that many of our veterans are returning to civilian life with mental health issues we are only beginning to fully understand. We also know that activities which bring people outdoors are proven to improve overall mental health. We have a responsibility to our veterans to encourage participation in any activity that can provide that benefit. In addition, by helping veterans heal through recreational sports, we may be able to save costs on their medical expenses. California is among the states with the most expensive fishing and hunting license fees. SB 1081 offers an opportunity to honor our state's veterans by reducing the price burden on activities that are proven to encourage mental health. Giving these individuals greater ability to make the most of our state's natural resources and outdoor opportunities will only benefit our veterans and their families. They deserve to make up some of the countless hours of the time they've lost with their loved ones while defending our nation. And SB 1081 represents a small price for us to make up for that. This bill has received no opposition and is supported by both recreation and veteran groups alike. Thank you, Madam Chair and members, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
And you have a witness.
Did you want to testify?
Sure. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam.
Please, welcome.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members. George Osborne, representing the California Sport Fishing League, in support of SB 1081. I am also a Vietnam War veteran when I served on active duty as a United States Marine. The nonprofit California Sport Fishing League supports all efforts to increase California sport fishing, and we want to thank Senator Morrell for introducing this legislation, which we believe will do just that. It'll increase participation in a wonderful outdoor sport while honoring veterans, especially disabled veterans, for serving the country. We want to thank Senator Morrell for carrying this legislation. Especially, I'd like to thank Senator Morrell for his recognition that not all war wounds are physical. When men and women come home from combat duty, they very quickly shift from combat vigilance to a peacetime environment, and the contrast is stark. It's unsettling, to say the least. We should do everything we can to ease their transition. Most veterans eventually can make that transition, but for many, it is difficult. When I came home from Vietnam, I went fishing. I grew up fishing, and that was my grounding. Fishing provided a secure space for me to think and process back into society. Fishing provided normal back into my life. Pardon me. In the case of SB 1081, we can make access to sport fishing more affordable for veterans, while we believe increasing participation in the sport overall, which will result in more license sales to veterans, their family members and friends, and more fishing equipment sales, which will mean more dollars invested in wildlife conservation by the Department of Fish and Wildlife. SB 1081 has no opposition, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
All righty. Let's see if there's any other people in the audience who wish to testify. Just name and affiliation, please.
American Veterans, State Legislative Chair, we support this.
Thank you for your attendance. Anyone else wishing to testify in support?
Madam Chairman, members, Pete Conatee, representing about 20 congressionally chartered veterans groups, and we are in strong support of this legislation and agree with everything the witness said. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Let's see if there's any opposition. Questions by members. I had a question, Senator Morrell. Right now, if I'm correct on this, veterans groups have reduced fees if they have a disability or they meet some lower income requirements?
So your question is, do they have a reduced fee now? Yes, they do. It's, for an example, on disabled veterans, it's $5, so we want to move that to $0. And in all veterans, we just want to move that. They pay the normal fee now, so we want to move that to $5.
And how do you recommend that the Department of Fish and Wildlife, with the potential loss of about $3 million of fees, makes up for that because they have some responsibilities that they're required to perform?
Yeah, it is going to cost money, but as my friend here indicated, there are issues that, there's people believe that this can help the mental health, and there'll be a savings down the road and a long-term advantage on medical issues. saving the state more
I
money.
can address that as well, Madam Chair, if you like.
Certainly.
Thank you. From our standpoint, we think that the department's estimate of those costs is grossly overstated. I think they're beginning with the assumption that every veteran or every service member, every veteran in the state of California is going to buy a fishing license at a reduced rate. I don't know that that's necessarily true. I do believe that by increasing opportunity, we will increase exposure to the sport and participation in the sport overall, which will result in more equipment sales. And as the Chair is well aware, the department gets a great deal of their budget money from federal excise taxes, which come from those fishing equipment sales. So we think that that's going to be offset.
Well, the financial part will be considered in appropriations.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
This bill move forward as part of the discussion. Any other questions by members? I guess I just have an observation on the disabled one, especially mental health or lower income people. I get it. I'm a daughter of a veteran, World War II. My husband, Vietnam era. All my uncles served in the military. Most of them were hunters or fishermen, and they paid their license, and because it came to the cost of protecting waterfowl or whatever they were hunting. So I'm not sure if it's needed, and you're going to run into a problem on where the money will come from. But as I said, the appropriations chair, I'm sure, will take that into account. Any other comments? If not, motion would be in order. Then moved by Senator Stone. We'll do it that way. Comment?
I'd just like to first commend Senator Morrell. Trying to make life easier and better for veterans that are coming home, certainly with a lot of post-traumatic stress, coming home with a lot of physical disabilities, and many of them use this as a form of recreation and relaxation. And I agree with the assessment that this may reduce mental health costs by allowing them to recreate. And then we also didn't talk about the volume. There might be more now getting licenses, so that's going to bring more revenue in from a gross standpoint. And when I was on the County Board of Supervisors in Riverside, we opened all of our parks and all of our recreational facilities free for any veteran as just a way, a very small token to say we appreciate your service. So this is, I think, de minimis, $3 million in a budget of, $125 billion. Granted, that all doesn't go to the Department of Veteran Services, but I think it's a statement that we support our veterans and want to help them cope with some of the disabilities that they have coming home. So I applaud you, and I'll move the item.
Madam Chair, I'm just a little confused because we're talking about mental health. And while fishing is a very relaxing sport, does this include hunting?
It does.
So we're talking about people that have mental health issues that may be
related, yes.
holding a weapon.
Yeah, fishing would definitely be therapeutic. I'm not sure.
So this covers the whole gamut of hunting, including
How I read it,
hunting
is
with a
that
weapon?
correct? Yes, hunting and fishing.
Can anybody on the podium respond to that in terms of, what we're talking about, trying to take weapons away from the mentally ill? What are we doing here with this legislation? Are we
I think
encouraging it?
California has done a pretty good job on taking weapons away from people who are mentally ill with a lot of the gun laws. So I would think that that's been covered fairly well.
What does it mean with this bill that's encouraging it, on the other hand?
Well, we're not encouraging anything other than helping out veterans who have served our country.
Well, I get that part, and I'm 1,000% in support of that. I'm there.
Yeah.
But that when he started talking about the mentally ill and about therapy, I thought, is having a gun out there
Well, we're not
adequate
centering
therapy?
this bill around that at all. That is just one of the side issues that has been brought up, that it's a relaxing sport, hunting as well as fishing. And so, of course, that can calm the nerves, calm the health type thing. But the main centerpiece of this bill is just simply...
But a side issue is, no matter where you place it, it's a pretty big issue. It can become an issue when this legislature approves an activity.
Yeah, and
It's
far as
almost
I
like
know-
condoning it, right? Saying, okay, if you're mentally ill, go take get a gun in your
By the way, as far as I know, I don't think there's any research that I've seen out there that has said, even right now with some of the disabled, that this has even been a problem in California with the largest population in the state, but also with the largest population of vets. So as of right now,
What do you mean by there has been research that shows that what is the problem?
What I said, I haven't seen any research out there. I didn't say there was. I said I have not seen any research that indicates that this has been a problem at all.
Well, you just had an incident in your district where a mentally ill person had a gun.
Again.
Didn't you have an issue, an incident in your district with a mentally ill person, going on a shooting spree?
Well, we did, but he wasn't a veteran. I mean, or you're talking about December 2nd.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I mean, when you're saying there isn't research showing the veterans are doing this.
No, I mean, we have not seen any disabled veterans or any veterans that I know of that have gone on hunting trips and then used that to harm people. I can't think of any. Can you?
Well, if that we don't need to be given.
May I suggest if this, I understand exactly what Senator Weiss is concerned about, whether, putting guns in the hands or making it easier for guns to be handled.
We might not even be doing that. We might just be saying it's okay.
This will be going to appropriations. Should it go to the floor, you may want to consider amending or your bill at some point in time to address those kinds of concerns that could come up. We're all a little bit edgy these days as far as making it easier for people to encourage them to use guns if they have post-traumatic stress syndrome and other kinds of things. So we all agree fishing could be very therapeutic, or just being outside, I think, is therapeutic. But
I would like to see an amendment to this bill, or at least a safeguard. I know it's not your intention, but something's got to be written in that shows that this is not what we're trying to do. We want to give veterans the ability to go out and recreate in this, area of recreational activity without encouraging people that are mentally ill to go out there and pick up a gun and.
probably don't have access to a gun, but perhaps you would.
Well.
So I would like to, if it's okay with Senator Wayso, to limit the debate here. You've heard the concerns. If this bill moves forward, you may want to address them before going to the committee, because you'll have fiscal issues, you may have other problems. So if you would like to close.
Yeah, just in closing, to address Senator Wayso's concern, I'll get together with you and specifically ask, what your recommendation would be and take that under consideration. Yeah, and by the way, just as a good story, I was reading in a fishing magazine, when you first go out to fish and you buy a pole, bait, everything, and then go on a trip, the first fish usually costs a person about $729, which I thought was kind of interesting. In my case, I think it's probably cost a lot more over the years. But anyway, thank you for listening, and I'd appreciate your aye vote. Thank you.
And the motion would be due pass to appropriations. The motion was made by Senator Stone, correct? Roll call.
Senators Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye. Stone? Stone, aye. Allen? Allen, aye. Hertzberg? Hueso? Hueso, aye. Jackson? Jackson, aye. Monning? Monning, aye. Vidak? Aye. Vidak, aye. Wolk? Wolk, aye.
We'll leave it open for Senator Hertzberg and Senator Laura if they would wish to add on. Is Laura on the committee?
Thank you, Madam
Senator
Chair.
Hertzberg. All right, thank you. Next up would be
Number 11. File item 11, Morel has.
File Item 11, another bill by Senator Morel, Senate Bill 1136, Fire Prevention Safety Responsibility Areas require, a report was issued this year. It's just a requirement that every year subsequently it should also be issued. The chair will be recommending an aye vote. Go ahead.
You're starting my day off very well.
if you'd start with stating that you would accept the amendments as proposed. Are there amendments?
Yes.
Technical amendments to your bill.
Well, good morning again, Madam Chair, and thank you for that. SB 1136 is a simple transparency measure which will ensure that this legislature and our constituents adequately understand how their SRA fire prevention fees are being spent. The citizens of California need to know how their dollars are being spent. However, the reports currently provided by CAL FIRE are not quite detailed enough for a clear understanding of all the expenditures. Upon request, CAL FIRE has provided a report that more sufficiently presents the information a number of my constituents and I are seeking. I happen to cover a large portion of my district is the San Bernardino Mountains, Big Bear, Running Springs, Arrowhead, and so have a lot of people up there when I go up there that are concerned about this. So I need to be able to fully communicate the accurate information to them. It contains most of, but not all the information I have requested. As of today, I am still waiting for equipment purchase information, a description of each position as paid for with SRA fees, as well as budget year expenditure estimates. This is why I believe codifying exactly the information we would like is essential. CAL FIRE has shown they are very capable of providing the information we seek, and therefore this request is a reasonable one. One good report will prevent any future misgivings about these SRA fees, and the legislature should receive full disclosure for how this money is spent as we authorize. In addition, the existing reporting requirement sunsets next January. So this bill extends the sunset date an additional 5 years to January of 2021, which is essential for our constituents who are clamoring to know where their money is being spent. SB 1136 is supported by the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, Senator George Runner, and many of my constituents, as well as constituents up and down the state who reside in the SRA. So thank you, Madam Chair, members, and again, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you very much. Primary witness, go ahead, sir.
Madam Chair, members, good morning. David Wolf with the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. We're in support of the bill, and Madam Chair, because this already has your support, I'm just going to be quiet and ask for an aye vote.
That is smart. Thank you. You don't want to encourage me to, go the other direction there. Thank you. Any other? Let's see if there's any other people here that wish to state for the record they're in support of this measure. It's a reporting bill. All right. Anyone in opposition to this measure? Let me turn to members for questions or motions.
Question.
Senator Jackson?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. We always prefer transparency, and I'm wondering, you mentioned that you had gotten a significant amount of information, but not enough. So could you tell us what information you believe is necessary that you have yet to be provided?
Well, here, let me just give you one example. And if you want to do the pass-outs now, at the very top, there's a number of columns on the on how this money is being spent. The very top one, which is the CAL FIRE prevention base budget, it shows approximately $30 million being spent. And it has one paragraph. Well, it took us, we did request it from them, and I know they're busy, but they broke down that one category that you see at the very top is broken down into these 2 pages right here. And this shows how the fees were being spent. It did take us about 6 months to get it, which we did get it, but it would be nice to have that report more timely, and that each category be broken down in this sort of manner instead of just a one paragraph, because they itemize the exact fee, so we know how that's being spent. And I think that's would be a good thing for our constituents.
So is this kind of breakdown to the minutia that we have here required to your knowledge in any other circumstances with state fire?
No. No.
So part of my concern is I know the SRA has been a real big bone of contention by some people. And I know some of us believe that the job of CAL FIRE is to make sure that when we have fires in the state, we put them out as quickly as possible. And I know during the past year, they've been a very busy group.
Absolutely.
And so my concern is that while we're asking, because I know there are people that don't want to pay the SRAs, don't believe they should, don't know what they're for, and knowing what money is spent for is always a good thing. I think it's an important thing. But in this circumstance, I just wonder whether we are asking the CAL FIRE, we're singling out this particular expenditure for reasons other than just simple transparency. And I wonder, CAL FIRE isn't here, but I wonder whether the amount of time that it took to prepare this document, which is not required under any other circumstances, takes away from their ability to do the job that I think 99% of Californians want them to do, maybe 100%, which is to put out these fires and to make sure that we're protected. So I am concerned that if we start asking CAL FIRE to identify every dime of expenditures for every procedure, that we're going to end up with that infamous bureaucratic sort of kerfufflery that
I like the word.
yeah, it's probably not a word, but I like it too. Is going to impede their ability to do the work that I think all Californians want them to do. So I just, I'm glad that they provided you with most of this. I have little confidence it will keep those folks who are opposed to the SRA from continuing to object to it. But I just wonder whether the real goal is transparency or something else here.
Yeah, no, the real goal is transparency, and not everybody who works at CAL FIRE is a firefighter, right? That's why they have administrative people to do this kind of work. And remember one thing too, this isn't CAL FIRE's money, it's not our money, it's taxpayers' money. And again, I didn't have the mountain area when I was in the Assembly. When I got elected to the Senate, I inherited that. So that's the #1 question that comes up, and they want, the taxpayers want to itemized report how their money is being spent.
I think CAL FIRE is well aware that it's not their money, but as taxpayers, we provide that money to them so that they can provide us with the protections that in a state like California we expect, need, and deserve. So again, the question is, if there is no other circumstance in which we require this level of minutia, I just wonder what the ultimate goal, motivation may be.
On that first column, it's over 30 million, so it's not minutia. And the report that, as you see, that is broken down goes from 1 paragraph to 2 pages. So I don't think every dime is accounted for, is itemized, but I think that at least this report explains to the taxpayers that pay this that they can see specifically exactly where the majority of that money is going. I think it's a real simple thing. It doesn't take a lot to produce reports like this. It shouldn't be, if you have the software and the accounting procedure. But at the very least, I think is important, because if not, citizens wonder, why they're being charged these things, and then there's a problem with they start asking questions, what are they hiding? And so I think anytime government can give full disclosure, whatever you're in, real estate, car sales, or whatever, you have to give full disclosure and itemize every single account. Government should be doing that for the taxpayers.
All right.
Thank you.
Difference of opinion on that, perhaps. And Senator Stone, if you'd like to make a motion, or you have a question.
Thank you. I was just going to make a couple of comments first, if I may.
Yes.
The county of Riverside, where I came from, as you know, we contract with CAL FIRE for 10 years. And we always recognize them as our own fire department, Riverside County Fire. And I'll tell you that I think our CAL FIRE is one of the finest professional firefighting organizations around, and that's why we contracted with them year after year, pretty much since our county's inception. And we have a lot of high fire areas. You have your San Bernardino Mountains. I've got the Idlewild area, Mount San Jacinto. And we were used to getting these kind of detailed reports, not just on the SRA fee, but just on fire mitigation, fighting in general. So I know that CAL FIRE has the capabilities with their administrative staff to provide for the kind of detail that we have without overburdening them, if you will, with administrative tasks. But I receive the same questions that you do in many of the fire-prone areas that I have where the SRA has been implemented, and the citizens want to know, okay, where is my $145 or whatever it is? Where is it being allocated? Is it really coming back to the source here in the way of some type of fire mitigation? If we have a wildfire, are these the funds that are being used? So I think transparency in government is good. I think government has a responsibility to show where their money is being spent and where it's being collected from. And so this is not to get into the legalities of whether this is a legal fee, legal tax, illegal fee. That's for the courts to opine. But I think it's healthy that we get an accounting like this. I applaud you for bringing it forward. I don't think it's a burden on CAL FIRE. And even if it was, it's a right of the citizens to know where their money is being spent. And for that, for those reasons, I'll move the bill.
Okay.
And one thing,
It'll be a close in a minute, and you can respond, so thank you for that. And if you would answer him in your close, that would be appreciated.
we'll do that.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, I just want to be clear, CAL FIRE does an excellent job in our area. That's not the problem. The problem is all the questions. I'm amazed. It's a small population that I have in the mountains, but yet I get a tremendous amount of questions from that. And so people, and I have a pancake breakfast coming up in a few weeks out there, so I know what question I'm going to be asked. But yeah, CAL FIRE, they do a wonderful job in my area as they do yours, but the citizens want an accounting. So with that, I'd be grateful for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I just had one comment. Of course, I told you I'm already supporting this. I would suggest that a lot of people want to know if the money they're paying, because it's sort of arbitrary lines based on whether you're in unincorporated areas or within a city limits. And I represent a lot of areas that are unincorporated. They pay the 135 on up a year. The others don't. And people ask me too, what fire prevention measures are we getting in exchange for our additional fee, or is it all going somewhere else? And so especially during the drought and periods of high fire risk, one thing I'd be very interested in seeing is sort of how it's spent regionally. You know, if it's not going to Big Bear and it's not going to Santa Monica Mountains, maybe it's somewhere else. So it's just something to think about, because there's certainly a lot of fire prevention. There's not expenditures in our state parks, and many of them have high fire risk because of dead and dying trees and vegetation, and we're trying to work with CAL FIRE to use some of the SRA monies for that purpose if there's people actually living in those state park environments. So thank you for carrying this. So the motion by Senator Stone is do pass as amended to appropriations.
Senators Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye. Stone. Stone, aye. Allen. Allen, aye. Hertzberg. Hueso. Jackson. Monning. Vidak. Vidak, aye. Wolk. Wolk, aye. It has 5.
You have 5 votes. That's enough to pass this committee. We're leaving it open for members to add on. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, members.
Adding 2 for 2. So do we have someone else here who's not on the committee? Senator Jackson, are you ready to present? This would be file item 3 by Senator Jackson, SB 900, relating to state lands, coastal hazard removal and remediation program. Just waiting for the doors to close. All right.
You can sit here. Why don't you come sit here? That way I'm not blocked off. Okay, you know what?